Today on the Snack Covenant.
Who are you and what is happening?
That's just a eyeball.
Don't forget to snack and hydrate. We hope you enjoy this episode.
This is Down Under by Night, Session 3. Would our players all like to give a brief hello?
My name is Sophie and I'm playing Snart, who is a ghoul bonded to Sin.
My name is Sin, and I'm playing Vika Smith, who's a vampire from the Soviet Union.
My name is Zach, and I'm playing Jim, a Gangle vampire.
My name's Captain, also known as Steve. I got other nicknames too, but I'm playing Remy. He is from Louisiana, is a hobo, and likes to protect hobos.
My name is Alhazred, and I'm the storyteller. When we last left off, you had discovered a grisly scene of murder most foul. Somebody from the Bowery, one of Remy's people, had been killed in a ritual that was clearly the result of somebody who did a little too much Googling for the word runes. And the sugar glider that was asleep in... that's not what sugar gliders look like, Sin. That was asleep in Sin's backpack had woken up and was pointing at a hatch on the floor as much as they can point, because they have very, very tiny fingers in their paws, to a hatch on the floor of the room where the body was strung up with the Googled runes all around it. So, that being the scene, what do you all do?
Let's go down the hatch.
Is the hatch locked in a meaningful capacity?
It is not.
Alright.
I assume by asking that you're physically checking.
Oh, absolutely.
It does have a wheel. Like, it looks like it belongs in a submarine.
But so it has the little chunk thing. Cool. Let's open that bad boy. Let's crack her open.
The hatch on the floor of Bergenworth, basically.
Excellent. Remy doesn't understand that reference, but I appreciate it.
What greets you upon opening is nothing immediately suspicious. There is a ladder leading down. You can see you can see the floor underneath. There is a tunnel. It leads down into the tunnel. It's definitely underground. You're already in a basement, and this goes down far enough that it's comfortably underground. It's not going to intersect with the surface.
If we're all going down there, which seems to be the collective, Remy will go ahead and hop and do the one punch, one fist down, hit the knee, grunt.
Superhero landing.
Exactly. Zack Snyder speed ramp.
Yeah, I'd probably be the one to hop down next.
Same thing. I'm going down.
Because you go down, Cupcake jumps onto your shoulder and kind of hangs on around your neck.
For those of us just joining us, Cupcake is the sugar glider.
Yes. You guys, again, there's nothing immediately suspicious. This is an industrial underground tunnel. There are pipes. There's steam coming out of some places in the pipes. Near where the hatch lets out, there is one of those old school looking lights that has the cage around it. And if you look down, the tunnel does go two ways. If you look down either way, there are more of those every so often. But it is fairly dark.
Can we smell blood coming from one of those specific tunnels?
Why don't you all roll Wits and Awareness, and we'll call that the first roll of the session.
I managed to get 5 successes.
Oddly enough, I got nothing.
Vika, what'd you get?
Oh, I didn't roll. I thought all the smart people rolled. I only have 2 wits.
The people who care pay attention.
Well, that sounds like it was in character anyway, so...
Yeah. Just still eating the ice cream cones from earlier.
The way this system is set up is that 2 is actually supposed to be human average anyway, so...
But Sophie got 5. She got it.
Very lucky roll.
Yeah, so, Snar, you can tell that there are no suspicious smells hiding underneath the general smell of this old tunnel. The rust smell is probably very prominent to you because this is not a newly constructed area. This has been here a while. Every every cruddy connotation of the word industrial is represented in this place. Remy, 4 successes, I would say same thing for you.
Right. Okay. You said that there was an obvious split, like it goes left and right, and then it continues to split left and right.
And as you're thinking that, Cupcake jumps off of Vika's shoulder and hops a few sugar glider steps into one of the directions, and again points in that direction as best as Cupcake can point with an animal paw, and then looks back at you expectantly. Vika, you don't have the skill that lets you literally talk to animals, but you've had Cupcake around for a while, and Cupcake is your familius. So go ahead and roll intelligence and animal kin.
I got 1 success.
Nice.
So you're not quite used to this from Cupcake. There's probably been a couple of occasions where Cupcake's been maybe a little hyper, maybe really wanting food, and kind of gotten a little antsy, but it's unusual for Cupcake to just, like, point in directions. Or, like, it's obvious the Cupcake is saying, hey, you should go this way.
Yeah. Guys, I think we should follow what Cupcake says.
But you do have a bit of an inclination that also something weird is going on.
I mean, if the body wasn't a big enough sort of tip-off that something strange was occurring.
With Cupcake specifically.
Right.
Oh, with Cupcake specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, no!
She's got the bloodlust. We're going to have to put her down.
Cupcake just saying, hey, this is the right way. Not something that would always happen.
Jim, something wrong with Pancake. I mean, Cupcake. Maybe you can turn into Penguin and talk to him.
Oh, I don't need to do that to talk to him.
You just have to speak as you would for any conversation, but since Cupcake is not your famulus, you do have to make a rouse check.
1 success.
Okay, so you do not get hungrier. So what do you say and or do to get Cupcake's attention?
Be like, hey, Cupcake, where are you going?
So Cupcake just kind of turns to you and double takes.
Squeak, squeakity, squeak, squeaker.
Yeah, the rest of you do not hear English when Jim says this. You hear sugar glider noises, and you also hear sugar glider noises when Cupcake responds. So Jim, when Cupcake responds, you actually hear, "Oh wow, we can talk. That's new. Why can't she talk? Why can you talk and she can't? Tell lady this way. This way. It's this way. We need to go this way. I need to go this way too."
Okay, what is that way?
Stuff, I think there's stuff.
All right, Cupcake says there's stuff that way.
I guess Cupcake has become de facto party leader. Let's go. I trust Cupcake explicitly and implicitly.
Excellent, same.
This continues for probably a good 20 minutes or so. Cupcake is kind of probably wishes you were all like moving at quadruped animal speed, and not your slow, stupid bipedal walking, because Cupcake will constantly just turn to look and make sure you're still there, and then run it a little more, and then kind of run in a circle a little bit. Again, nothing suspicious about the tunnel itself, but after about 20 minutes or so, everybody go ahead and roll wits and awareness. If you're rolling willpower, hunger is not involved. Ooh, 4 for Sophie.
I have 2 success.
Yeah, I do too.
3 successes.
So, Jim, you notice one of the pipes running along the tunnel starts shaking a little violently. You notice it fast enough to back off a little bit just before a really rusty spot bursts and steam just pours out.
Dramatically.
Very, very dramatically.
Is anyone hurt?
No one is hurt. Remy, your arm gets wet because you're in front of Jim and you didn't notice that in time.
Can Remy punch the pipe?
You can, yeah.
Sweet. Remy would like to punch the pipe, like right before where it bursts, to kind of, cut it off.
It dents inward. That mostly succeeds. The steam kind of really tapers off, and you can see like water dripping from where it's condensing now around the edges where it bursts. Snart, with 4 successes, you're not paying attention to that at all because you see something really, really strange. It's maybe about 1.5 meters away from one of those lights that's above the pipes. You follow that along. There is what looks like a wire going further in the direction you're heading, and the wire does go down, so it's trying to kind of like hide behind the pipes tucked in. But what's connected to the wire is set into the wall, quite obviously a human eyeball that's looking back and forth among all of you.
So by wire, you mean like an electrical wire?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like a security camera made out of an eyeball.
Yes.
Should probably tell everyone about that.
That is, of course, your choice.
Yeah. Hi. So there's a security camera made of an eyeball. Does anyone want to check that out?
What do the rest of you do?
I'll pull up my gator and go look at it.
Remy and Vika, what do you two do?
I'm reconsidering this whole thing.
Remy's gonna, I assume his jacket got wet.
Just one arm.
Yeah, he's gonna pull the jacket off and kind of like tie it off just a little bit, like around his waist, so we can get that sick dad bod on display.
So, Jim, you look at the eyeball. Anything in particular you do to look at it?
I'm trying to see if this is this like a real, like, actual eyeball? Is this some novelty thing hooked up to the wire? Like, what's going on here?
If it's a novelty thing, it's a really expensive one because it looks squishy.
I point my gun at it.
It goes a little wide, and it focuses very much on the gun instead of your face. Also, it is up kind of high because those lights are up kind of high, so it's up more than you are tall, but not too much. Like it's not out of reach or anything.
Jim, can you reach the eyeball and pull it out?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna see. So, how securely is it mounted to the wall? Like, if I
you can't quite tell. There's definitely some skin around it. Like it's not just the eyeball. It's definitely dug into the wall a little bit, like someone made a little, I don't know if crevasse is the right word, but someone made
divot.
A divot, yes, thank you. Someone made a divot to actually set it into so it wasn't completely sticking out.
So they have access to rudimentary carving tools.
Jim, what you can do, pull it out, and then the wires will be pulled out and they will lead us where we need to go. You know, like in cartoon?
The wire's not invisible once it goes down behind the pipes. It's not like the pipes don't completely hide it from sight.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Just pull it out.
At this point, she just wants to see what happens.
That's completely fair. Also completely fair. So, Jim, what do you do?
I'm gonna reach up and see what. I'm looking for a reaction if I reach up around it.
It turns to the edge you poke. And it's a bit hyperactive now. Like it's like darting around everywhere and like where your hand is and where you poke it. And it's like it could be said to possibly be freaking out maybe, but you know you've never seen a security camera made out of an eyeball before, so who knows?
It's a new one.
Well, probably best to leave it where it is. It's already seen everything.
Can I jump up and try to rip it out?
You sure can.
Let's do this. What do I roll?
Roll dexterity and athletics.
Okay.
Because it is not within your arm's reach.
Girl, the shade.
Could I assist a little bit, just like under the arms, just lift? Just to get her up there.
Vika, add one die to your dice pool.
Okay. So that will be a total of 4 and hunger 1. 2 successes.
Nice.
2 successes. What are you trying to just go for the eye, or also like the skin around the eye, like
the entire thing? I just want to rip it out. This has been going on long enough.
Yeah,
somebody
enough
killed
of
my
this Guillermo
animals.
del Toro shit. Let's get it out of
killed
here.
His friend. So I'm just like, let's go. No, this is enough. Like, let's.
So with 2 successes, it's not entirely perfect. Your finger, the tips of your fingers do kind of squish and tear some of the flesh around the eye, but as you pull, the whole thing does like pop out of the divot in mostly one piece. But there's a little bit of blood on your fingers now. The eyeball is also now very much freaking out and looking every which way now that it's in your hand.
Okay, listen to me. Who are you and what is happening?
Absolutely nothing happens.
Yeah.
Remy kind of
Because
offers
it's an eyeball and not a mouth. Or an ear.
It's a little bit of advice.
Remy does offer something to that extent, like that's just an eyeball.
You're just an eyeball.
It blinks at you a couple of times and makes a really squishy noise because now that some of the flesh has been like pulled a little too much, and some more blood also kind of like pools around your fingers, and then it turns towards the direction you've already been walking.
Jim, could you put it back?
Yeah, sure.
Lick it first, like.
It doesn't fit quite right since the flesh has been kind of like deformed around the eyeball now, but you do get it to stay in there. And now there's also like a little rivulet of blood also dripping down.
Jim, could you put some cash on it? They can fix it when they deal with it.
If any of you are still looking at it, after a couple of seconds, the eye closes and does not open again. Moving on, you keep going.
Gonna be a bit hard to move on from that.
I would keep going.
Everyone, Vika, are you taking point now? Or are you moving ahead of Remy? Do you start moving first?
No, Remy, go first.
Yeah. If she does try to if she starts to scarper a little bit ahead, he's just gonna kind of subtly put the hand in front of her, like when you're stopping at a stoplight and you have to keep the kid next to you from hitting the dash.
And as you set out again, Cupcake does stay ahead of you as Vika, is Cupcake he or she? Because I don't remember.
I don't know.
Never asked.
I'm guessing sexing sugar gliders is kind of difficult if you don't know what you're doing.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
So the formation resumes. Once again, there is a stretch of time where nothing seems out of place or suspicious, although you can still find that wire going behind the pipes if you want to look for it. But there are no different directions to go or anything like that. But this time it only takes about 10 minutes before anything strange happens, and you find a door. Metal door. If the door wasn't here, it would be a dead end because it's taking out. It's a small tunnel. There's room for all of you, and that's about it.
It's like a maintenance tunnel almost. This is where a bunch of pipes underneath buildings go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you were paying attention, you could probably see pipes going up and stuff, but there's nothing you would do anything with or find interesting.
Is there, relevant question, light behind the door?
The seams are too tight. You can't tell. The door does not have a doorknob. It has a handle that goes across the entire thing because it's metal. It's meant to be pulled heavily.
It's like a push boy, like a chunk.
It would be pull. It's not it's just a handle that you would grab and pull. It's not like a grocery store door or anything like that.
Fair enough.
There is also on the left side of the door, because that's the left side of the door is where the hinges are not, so it opens toward the right. On the left side, there is a keypad, and above the keypad there is what is quite obviously an intercom. Everyone roll wits and awareness again.
2 successes.
2 successes.
1 success, possible bestial failure.
What does that mean? Just suddenly go apeshit.
Well, you're not taking a. This one does not have a specific difficulty. It's just how much you're succeeding. So, none of you see any other features on the door. There's just door, keypad, intercom. So, would that bit of unless anyone wants to take willpower damage to reroll your failed dice, which you can all do, of course. But barring that, what do you do with the information you have?
So, to recap, there's a keypad. There's a door. Yep. The seams are super tight. There's an intercom. Conceivably, there's a button to interact with that intercom.
There is.
All right. And the seams are tight enough, I assume, for a sugar glider, or too tight for a sugar glider to bodily squeeze.
Well, they're too tight that you can't see the light from the other side.
Oh, okay.
So
a sugar glider might pass unencumbered.
No.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
They're not that flat.
Yeah.
They're fairly flat.
They're not an octopus.
But there are hinges visible.
Yes.
Cool. Remy could probably try to take the hinges off. It's the weakness of all doors. They require hinges to function.
You don't want to try and talk to intercom?
You did try to talk to that eyeball. You want to give it a shot?
Snart, you got negotiator. Can you talk to the intercom?
What do we want to ask the intercom, though?
What the fuck is happening?
It's as good a plan as any, I suppose.
Okay, so I've got have some public speaking thing, don't I?
You actually don't need to roll for this if you want to press the intercom button.
Okay, so group meeting.
Yeah.
What do we want to find out about this?
How we open the door?
Who killing everybody?
Well, we're trying to find the killer, right?
Ask him if he has size 9 shoe.
I just want to state for the record, we following the sugar glider, and we found an eyeball on the wall. So, I'm not sure logic necessarily applies to the situation. I'm going to try the fucking door. If that's all right with you.
That's
All right, try the
absolutely
door.
What
fine.
kind of hinges
Go
does
ahead.
this thing
Go
have
for it.
anyway? Is this a blast door, or is this just a...
It looks sturdy. It's probably possible to take the hinges off, but it would require some work. You'd need to put some elbow
What
grease
about
into
just
it.
pushing on it? Is it locked? Because we haven't checked yet.
Yeah.
You can certainly check.
Yeah, Remy will press an elbow into it, kind of like turn halfway away, just give it a little, see if it budges.
It does not move.
Well, ain't that a surprise?
I could try to beat up the door if you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to see that, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna try to beat up the door. I have
Roll
5 in
strength and
brawl.
brawl.
I'm gonna try it. 1 hunger?
Yep. Strength plus brawl.
Oh, strength too? I have 3 strengths.
Yep.
Okay, so that's like 8 total. Okay, I got this.
If you're punching or kicking something without a weapon, it's strength and brawl. Actually, if you were kicking, it would probably be dex and brawl, but you know.
Same, it's the same stats. Okay, fingers crossed. Oh!
I can't
okay,
see
you
it.
We can't see the
Very
says
bright.
8 success, possible messy crit.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Wow.
messy.
You just put yourself through the door. Like, stuck.
Potence.
What do you do specifically? Do you punch it?
Just punch it really, really hard.
So you all watch Vika punch the door. The door now has a dent in it that is a perfect outline of Vika's fist. Other than that, it does not move. Vika, your punch was so amazing you didn't hurt yourself in the process. And with that messy critical, you are really fired up. The brouhaha blood inside of you is so thrilled that you actually just tried to punch something, and also so annoyed that the stupid door did not move. It wants more. It wants to punch more things, preferably people who will explode because you're going to punch them that hard again. And so your hunger goes up by 1.
Oh no.
Right, like, you just get spicy. You're going...
Okay, who's next?
The door still ain't down.
Snart, talk to the
Okay,
I think
okay.
I'm talking to you in a calm
Okay. So I'm like, do you want to pretend that we're there to fix the door?
Sure.
Okay.
Why
Yes,
not?
let's do
Okay,
that.
so press the indigo button and say, look, there's been some damage to the door. We're not sure how it happened,
Yes,
but we're
hello,
here
who
to
are
fix
you?
it.
What?
Hi.
Huh?
Who are we? We should have planned this beforehand.
The door repairman! Door repairman!
We're the door repair people.
The voice on the other end. You can tell the voice is male at the very least.
Okay,
It
yep.
sounds a little. Not necessarily exasperated, but perhaps awkward. You hear the voice say, "Oh, it's you, of course. Who else would it be? Yes, obviously. One moment, I'll buzz you in."
Oh,
And then the intercom clicks off from the other end.
I'm assuming they're far enough away from the door that they didn't notice that Sen punched a hole in it.
It is entirely possible.
Okay.
It is indeed only a moment. You hear that stereotypical, I guess cliche would be a better word, electronic buzzing in the door noise. And the door, once the lock lets go, it swings a couple of inches toward you because it's a pull door. That's why there's a handle on it.
Right. And that's definitely not something I would have tried. Fair enough.
It does not fully open. It is not an automatic door. It just moved a little bit because it's no longer held closed by the lock.
Well, there's also a big fucking dent in it, so how efficient is it at opening now?
Okay, Remy, Jim, after you guys.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it the rest of the way open and head on in.
It creaks a little, but it's maintained pretty well. There's no... there's a little bit of rust out on the front and the side you're coming in, but like the hinges don't squeak at all. It seems pretty well maintained.
Yeah, Remy will lead the charge. I think he's physically the biggest, right?
Yeah.
At least
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of...
Yeah.
with Jim close behind. As for the smallest, we'll just say that Vika's character sheet, the description part, does literally say looks like Sin.
Right. we need to get her on
getting
Remy's
into
shoulders.
the whole role-playing thing. It's created an entirely new character.
Yeah.
Small.
Can't wait for us to do D&D and she's just immediately a dwarf fighter.
Or a halfling. There
Yeah.
are options. A lot of small.
I mean, it's Sin's second TTRPG. I was kind of expecting you to just
Yeah.
play yourselves anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I had originally concocted a backstory where you have listeners of the podcast who are vampires and turn you so it would never end.
That's the next season.
It's actually something that Critical Role did. I would have been ripping them
Okay.
off. You all walk in. The space on the other side of the door, it is something you would describe as a room. It's got 4 walls, got a roof.
Mm-hmm.
The roof is a few inches higher than the roof of the tunnel, so it doesn't seem cramped at all. It's also much wider. Other than that, it's fairly plain, but there is furniture. There are 2 sofas with a coffee table in between them in the center of the room. In addition to being more spacious, it is also just a better space than the tunnel was. Like, you're still obviously underground. It's not like fancy, someone paid $1 million to make a bunker. On the right side of the room, there is what looks like a workbench. And on top of the workbench sits what looks like at first glance to be a full-size computer tower.
What about at second glance?
At second glance, the side panels have been removed, and the on the
Are there
inside,
organs in there? There are organs in there, aren't there?
There are not organs, but inside of the front panel, where all the wires connect to the various switches that would go to the motherboard, there's no internal hardware. There is no motherboard, but there are bits of flesh where you would expect the drive bays to be, and there are sort of fibrous material running off them that eventually kind of turn into standard computer connectors like Molex cables, SATA cables, everything. And if you look really closely, you can tell that there has been some work done to make these things connect like very minutely at the point where they connect.
So the old flesh is dead. Long live the new flesh.
The flesh is not dead. The flesh is like it's not like decomposing or anything.
Oh, it's alive. It's like all that mushroom shit in the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh.
I know what happened. Somebody just saw future crimes and they're like, I have a very good idea.
You'll have to explain that reference to us.
What else? I mean, is there an individual in this room? Because that's kind of what we came here for.
There is no individual in this room. The other 3 of you in this moment where you enter, where you've entered, do you do anything? Do you move around at all?
Hello? Anybody home?
As Vika is saying this, the door on the far side of the room from where you entered opens, and a man walks out. He is dressed like he is from the 50s, which means doesn't really stick out like a sore thumb, but if you look at him for long enough, you'll kind of realize he's a little bit outdated.
Are we talking like suit from the 50s or just like polo?
No, it would be street clothes from the 50s.
Gotcha.
I don't get these kids' fashion these days.
He is a couple inches shorter than Jim, which means he's taller than Vika.
Yeah, I feel very attacked!
And his face, he's pretty classically handsome. He has blonde hair, also looks a bit 50s-ish. He looks like he could be Joey D'Alessandro's long-lost twin. Very, very handsome, kind of striking, but aside from the outdated fashion, nothing particularly suspicious. And he says, good, you did find the place. And as he says this, Cupcake runs further ahead and jumps up on the back of the sofa that he is closest to and points at him as if you can't see him, as if Cupcake wants you to know that this is what he was leading you towards, and is worried you're not going to see.
Thank you, Cupcake, for this invaluable information.
Its name, and he turns to Cupcake and says, "Oh, its name is Cupcake. That's kind of cute." And he gives
That's none
Cupcake
of
a
your
little
business.
pet. Oh
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
First of all, what shoe size you wear?
Oh, and he like visibly looks down and he says, I think it's 13 wide because that's a thing these days.
That's not a 9.
He says, okay, I'm sure coming here and seeing my security system, you all probably quite fairly suspected that possibly I had something to do with the dead people, one of which you just found, as well as the dead animals that are all around town and very distasteful. I am not. That is not me. That is not me. But I.
Yeah, we know. Do you know the day we had?
I don't have cameras out across the entire town, so I only realized you were here when you found the other body. I was actually thinking about what to do about that because I didn't want the cops that close to my home, but now here all you are. So.
You talk in riddles, you take your time. My fists are hungry, so you better tell us what's happening.
Oh, I can. Would you all like refreshments? I can absolutely bring refreshments for you.
I want you to start talking and saying things we want to hear.
Do you have ice cream?
I don't have ice cream. I just have blood.
Okay, yeah, continue. He's useless.
Remy advances menacingly.
I'll tell you right now. I have video footage of someone I'm 90% sure is the person who's been killing people. My camera was somewhat far away. Not like my cameras are better than those stupid security cameras that, people's phones now take better footage than those, and for some reason when the cops are looking for criminals, it's like, look at the security footage that looks like it's from 30 years ago. But he was rather far away from my camera, but I'm about 90% certain it's the person who killed. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have guests often, and I also do, I'm very big on hospitality, so I thought we would, sit down for a minute. But
Remy puts a hand on
so.
this guy's shoulder, and just places a hand on this guy's shoulder, and he says, "Man, I just followed a flying squirrel for 30 minutes. I need you to cut to the chase."
Roll manipulation and intimidation.
Well, that's fair.
Nice. Go, Remy.
Please. Well, 3 successes.
He looks at your hand on his shoulder, and he looks at you again as he talks, and again as he answers you. He says, "My friend, I will be perfectly happy to help you figure out what's going on. Trust me, there's no need for that."
Remy doesn't move his hand, but instead of gripping him, he just kind of softens it. But it's still there.
And he makes a fairly grand gesture to. Now, with Remy's hand on his shoulder, he doesn't try to physically lead everyone into the other room now, so he's just gesturing for you all to go in first.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go.
Head on in.
Where we dropping, boys? Twisted Towers?
And I think that will be a great place to end this episode.